It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft, thanking you so much for joining us and encouraging you to always stay up to date on the latest that's happening across the greater West Bloomfield area with us on demand on civiccentertv.com. In addition, you can follow us on social media for free to capture all of our content each and every day. At Civic Center TV on Facebook, Civic Center TV 15, my apologies, on Facebook, and then find us on YouTube, Instagram, and on X at Civic Center TV. Starting off today, a lot of changes in leadership recently, but some big-time leaders are up and coming in our community over at West Bloomfield High School and at Oakland Early College, taking an early charge in impacting their community at their respective schools. Reporter Jake Schaff has the story.
In school, the voices of the students are just as important as the voices of the teachers. And to help make sure that every single voice is heard, the student liaisons work hard to make their generation proud. Working closely with the West Bloomfield School District as well as Oakland Early College, the student liaisons serve as a voice for the student body and help make sure that everyone is satisfied and prepared for years to come.
Well, it was an opportunity that was presented to me through my school student government, and having done that since freshman year, it was something that intrigued me. I asked my advisor about the opportunity. She said that it would be something that maybe I should try out for, and once I interviewed for it and I looked into the position, it's something that I genuinely love, giving back kind of to the community and talking about what we get to do at West Bloomfield and presenting that information to the board is such a valuable role to me, and I'm really excited to be doing it.
I've always been involved in many clubs, and I'm on the board of multiple clubs, so I thought it would be a great opportunity to get to tell the board about what the clubs are doing and really show what OEC does to keep the students involved. It's great because I get to talk to other people in the school and ask them, like, what have you guys been doing? They send me pictures, and it really just helps me get to know the other students and share the amazing things OEC does.
How does it feel to be a big voice representing the student body?
It's definitely a lot to handle. It's big shoes to fill, but I hope that I'm doing a good job, and I just really want to be able to shed light on all the different activities that are going on at West Bloomfield, because we got a lot of things that maybe aren't as talked about or that could be highlighted more, and I just really like to prioritize those things when I'm giving my presentation.
What are some of the biggest qualities you've taken away from your role?
I think the biggest thing is communication, which I think that's kind of cliche, but I think communication is integral to any type of situation, especially in work, and having those communication skills, especially between the different advisors of clubs and the students that are in those clubs, and then all the way to the administration and getting that information along has been a really valuable skill for me.
Do you think this is going to set you up really nicely for when you eventually make the jump to college?
Yes, I think especially at OEC, where we are taking college classes at the same time as high school classes, not only are we able to kind of tell like what the college workload is, but we're set up to manage our time and become more responsible, which a lot of people struggle with right when they enter college, but at OEC we kind of have a step to prepare us for that.
What would you have to say to people who might be interested in trying out this position for themselves?
Absolutely go for it. It might sound boring at first. It did when I first looked into it, but genuinely it is one of the most fun, amazing things to be able to collaborate with so many people in the community and to have this experience every month at the board. It's such a great professional opportunity as well as a learning opportunity for anyone who's interested.
It's amazing to hear about the work that these liaisons do to further their education and to help the education of the entire student body. And by serving as a powerful voice now, that's going to mean great things as they head off into the future. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Appreciate the report from Jake, and appreciate both Harshitha as well as Selma's work on the OEC and the West Bloomfield High School's student liaison as their liaisons each and every month, giving the latest report to the school board and telling them also what maybe the student body needs a little bit more each and every day. They do amazing work over there, and for more updates on everything that they're doing, you can stay tuned each and every month to the school board meetings on civiccentertv.com on demand and always live at 7 o'clock on those Monday nights on WBT TV, Comcast Channel 19, and AT&T Channel 99. In West Bloomfield, a beloved arcade has found its second life by moving right here into West Bloomfield Township. Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum, just a year ago, it seemed, or less than a year ago, seemed like it was possibly going to be closing its doors after decades of serving our local communities here in Oakland County. Now, they're going to be coming back, and they'll be coming back right here in our community. Our Kevin McIntosh is on site at their current location in Farmington Hills with more information. Kevin.
Tyler, thank you. I have the honor of being here live right now. Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum. You see a lot of excitement going on behind me. We're making a big move as of recently. They announced that they will be moving from their location, beloved location right here in Farmington Hills, to the Orchard Mall in West Bloomfield, giving them more than twice as much space as they have right now. So joining me right here is the owner of Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum. We have Jeremy Yagoda. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for coming today.
So let's just talk about this big move that we're making right now. From the staple right here in Farmington Hills, going to West Bloomfield Orchard Mall. What excites you the most about this move?
New beginnings. We're going to be almost 3 times as big. Going to have the opportunity to spread things out, to have some private party rooms, and just it's an exciting time. It really is.
Perfect. And with this transition, I know it's a lot going on, a lot of moving parts. With that being said, just talk about the support and how important the support from the West Bloomfield community has been with this transition.
The team at Orchard Mall, the city of West Bloomfield government, the residents of West Bloomfield, it's just been marvelous. It's exciting to see how excited they are for us. It's going to be an amazing move, and I can't begin to explain how amazing all the support feels and how excited we are to make this happen.
Marvelous is a great word to explain. With that being said, now what role do you see or plan to have Marvin's Marvelous Museum playing in the community of West Bloomfield with it being there?
Well, it's going to be great. We're going to be bringing more and new people into the community, new people to the Orchard Mall, and just it's a whole new experience and something West Bloomfield has never really had. So we're excited.
Now you have a bunch of different collectibles, arcades, things that brings back nostalgia from the city around the world. Just talk about how all of this has been accumulated over the time.
You know, this was built out of passion. It was never about the dollars. We would buy games we knew would never pay for themselves, and things on the walls, posters, signs. And it was just about having something unique and different, the things we appreciated and wanting to share with everyone else out there.
Very, very great pieces of material in here. Brings back a lot of nostalgia from childhood, Detroit memories as well. A great place to pay a visit and bring your family. Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum. Try to say that 3 times fast. Live right here off of Orchard Lake, Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Back to you in the studio, Tyler.
Appreciate it, Kevin, and congratulations to Jeremy and the entire team at Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum. You can follow them on Facebook at Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum or visit their website, marvin3m.com, to get even more updates about when that big move will happen. As Kevin had reported, over twice the space that they have in their Farmington Hills location will be at the Orchard Mall right here in the center of West Bloomfield Township on Maple Road, at the corner of Maple and Orchard Lake. Congratulations to them and to our community for bringing that staple of the local area in here to West Bloomfield. Changes at West Bloomfield Town Hall are underway with the resignation recently of longtime Township Supervisor Steve Kaplan. The West Bloomfield Township Board appointing a new leader recently. Jonathan Warshay, West Bloomfield Township trustee, appointed as Steve Kaplan's successor at a recent Township Board meeting. And he joins us now after being sworn in and officially taking office as our new Township Supervisor. Supervisor Warshay, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Tyler.
Glad to have you on, and congratulations to you on this promotion, this big honor of yours, taking over as the supervisor. Your initial reaction to being nominated, to being voted in as the new supervisor as you begin this position?
Well, I really appreciate the board's confidence in selecting me for this position. I think I come with the tools needed to serve the public in it. I've worked with the department heads before as a trustee, but it's certainly different than now, being a supervisor, the daily the day-to-day with them.
Yeah, and it's critical work that you're doing in that period between Supervisor Kaplan's resignation and now this nomination and ultimately appointment to the supervisor's position. There's always going to be some uncertainty there at the department head level. Now, what are your goals early on to sort of come on in and get to know the day-to-day work a little bit closer and a little bit more intimately, as you said, as that's going to be critical to being a quality township supervisor?
Well, I want to work on, having strong communication with all the department heads and the staff and the public as well. I think the public should be informed as to what's going on, and I want to work with everyone on doing that.
Jonathan Warshay is with us, the new West Bloomfield Township Supervisor, recently appointed by the Township Board after an absence due to resignation. He also, in this case, vacated his seat on the Township Board as a trustee, although he'll continue as a voting member of the board as the supervisor, as regularly happens. And so, Jonathan, with the statutory processes that are coming up to fill that position, and as you continue on in your leadership role, what are your hopes for making this as smooth of a transition as possible from one supervisor to another, and then welcoming in a new board member in the coming weeks?
Well, it's certainly it's all a tall order to do that. I'm again just talking with everyone. Listening is the best part. Let them do the talking, and there's a lot to learn on my side, and then a new trustee, I know a lot of people have already expressed interest, probably many more will, and it'll be a big task for the board to sift through all those expressions of interest to select someone who will be a good trustee and serve the township.
In your opinion, as you take over as supervisor, what is the state of our community right now in West Bloomfield Township, and how do you hope to build from what's already a pretty good point that we're at, both fiscally and from where our development in our community stands?
Well, as you know, most of the township's pretty well developed at this point. There's some areas, obviously, that are undeveloped, but we want to continue to preserve the natural beauty of the township. Lakes and the woodlands are certainly something that I think are the envy of many of our neighbors. So we want to keep that in its natural state. We want, I think it attracts people to live in West Bloomfield, just the natural beauty. And at the same time, there's areas that may be redeveloped, and we want to see what we can do to encourage that where it's needed.
Jonathan Warshay is with us, the new West Bloomfield Township Supervisor, recently appointed by the Township Board to succeed Steve Kaplan following his resignation on the board. Jonathan, as you reflect on your years living in this township and serving as a township trustee, and you look forward to the future, as West Bloomfield stands right now, you mentioned it, wanting to attract people to come into our township, to build their businesses here, to build their families here. And what do you believe in your years of service and your years of volunteering makes this township so special?
I think there's a spirit here among the people who live here as well as those who work here. They really like the township, and there's a lot of volunteerism, and people pull together to do things in all the different events we have, in all the community groups. So that's a very strong foundation to keep building on, and it really makes this place a wonderful place to be in.
And lastly, Supervisor, before we let you go, I want to talk about something that was mentioned in that township board meeting. So many people speaking about your service to the community, why they believed you would be an excellent successor to Supervisor Steve Kaplan, taking over this position for the next couple of years until there's a special election that would ultimately have the public deciding the future of that position. You're very involved in the community. You volunteer. You're an adult co-chair with United We Walk. You're involved in a number of different other capacities in the township as well. As a leader, why do you believe that involvement outside of your day-to-day, which is already pretty robust and involved as it will be as a supervisor, why is it important to get involved beyond your regular tasks?
Well, it brings together people from different groups, and so you get perspectives. They share their experiences, and they bring those to whatever the purpose of the group is. United We Walk, we have a lot of people from the schools, but we have people elsewhere, fraternities who are in it. And the same way, I'm chair of the West Bloomfield Democrats, and while that's certainly from one side of the political spectrum, it's a varied group. It's not a monolithic set of people. So it's all about working with people to achieve our goals, which is basically make West Bloomfield even better than it is.
Well, Supervisor, we'll let you get back to work. We know you got a busy day, your first full day in office after being appointed at the point that we're speaking to you now today, and plenty more work to do to get acclimated to the office, get everybody acclimated to you, and continue the excellent work being done at Town Hall each and every day. Congratulations, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Taylor. It's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure speaking to you and the others at West Bloomfield Town Hall. For more information and updates going forward with the West Bloomfield Township Board and other auxiliary boards at West Bloomfield Town Hall, wbtownship.org is the place to go. You can also watch all of their township board meetings, including the one in which Supervisor Warshay was appointed by the board, by visiting civiccentertv.com. All of our meetings on demand, and you can also check our on-air schedule for when live meetings will be broadcast each and every week in your community, and available on demand on our website as well. With Supervisor Jonathan Warshay taking over the main office at West Bloomfield Town Hall, now there is a vacancy on the Township Board for a new trustee and a need for a bit of transition at West Bloomfield Town Hall from one administration to the next. Joining us for more insight on making that transition and where the township goes from here are its two other elected full-time officials, West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder and West Bloomfield Township Treasurer Terry Weingarten. Thank you both for being with us.
Good morning, Tyler.
Oh, good morning.
Yeah, glad to have you both on with us as it's an interesting time in West Bloomfield Township's history, a resignation from the supervisor and an appointment just recently of Jonathan Warshay as Township Supervisor. Terry, I want to begin with you as someone that had a lot to say at the appointment of Jonathan Warshay about what qualifies him for that position. What do you believe makes him an excellent successor for the supervisor position?
So there's a lot of reasons, and we had a lot of people speaking on Jonathan's behalf at the meeting. And, he has deep integrity. He's very intelligent. He's kind. He's very even-keeled. But for me, the main thing actually was the voters. So this was a very unprecedented situation for us in West Bloomfield, and I felt that if I and my other board members were choosing somebody, we should select somebody that the voters would select. So Jonathan ran back in, I believe it was 2016 for supervisor. And at that time, thank you, Debbie, 2012 for supervisor. And at that time, we had an incumbent. And then we had Jonathan running, and then we had one person. Sometimes people just kind of are put in the race but never run, just to kind of mess with the numbers. Jonathan only lost by 215 votes. And that third candidate, whose name I don't even remember and never ran a campaign, got about 900. And that's pretty normal when you have people that are known and not known. So Jonathan actually would have won the election had that third person not been in that race. And then Jonathan has been elected trustee time after time by the voters of West Bloomfield. So for me, I wanted to make sure we were picking somebody the voters would have picked, because I think that's really important that the voters have a voice. First of all, they elect us to make these decisions, but really we wanted to make sure it wasn't an unknown, but it was somebody that, the voters would respect as much as we did. So for me, that was very paramount in my decision making.
And Terry, that's a really good point, because when there is a resignation from the township supervisor, a statute says that the township board is the one that's making a decision on appointing a successor for that position. So to go to you, Clerk Binder, I'd imagine from a leader's standpoint, as you're making a very tough decision under tough circumstances, you and the other, at that point in time, 5 members of the township board, that stability would play a big factor in who succeeds as supervisor.
Absolutely. And I think that Terry's point about, that the people had already spoken many times about Jonathan, in addition to when he ran for supervisor and lost by a small amount, he was selected 3 times by the voters as their trustee. So the voters have their faith in him. And I think that's a really important and excellent point that the treasurer has made. I think in addition, we have had 8 years of working with Jonathan to know who he is, to know how he operates, and to understand his integrity. So, statute dictates that the board should select a person in the event of a vacancy, but normally it is selected by the people. So I think the responsibility of taking who the people would have selected into account was key. But in this case, providing that continuity, as I had mentioned during the meeting, Jonathan is uniquely qualified. He has served for 8 years as a trustee. He does have the knowledge of the role, and he has been an exemplary trustee who has come to every meeting prepared and ready, understanding the issues, having asked the questions ahead of time, and engaged. And not every board member and any board comes prepared like that. So I think when we looked at Jonathan's character, we looked at his background, his experience, his education, that he's a lawyer. I believe he has a business degree as well. But knowing what he brought to the table in addition to the experience that he brought with him to the table, it was really an easy choice for me. He was, as I said, uniquely qualified. We were comfortable when we're tasked with it. It is, like you said, it's a big responsibility to have to make that choice. And at this point, that choice is for 2 years. Now, again, it's not for the entire term. In 2 years, the voters will get to choose who they select as their replacement, and hopefully Jonathan will do a good job in that role. But I have every belief that he will, because to me, he was proven, and we have seen what he is like as a human, what he is like as a leader, and what he is like as a board member. So I think it was a great choice to bring him on as supervisor. And, is there a learning curve? I think for everybody there is, that takes on any role. But I know that Terry and I are looking forward to the collaborative nature of his leadership. We know that the three of us will work together, very closely, and it should be, of benefit to the residents of West Bloomfield. Because I know Jonathan as a person. I know his commitment to our community, and I've worked with Terry and known Terry for many years. I know Terry's commitment to this community and to our residents, and I believe that mine is known as well. So I think it'll be three really strong people working together to make sure that West Bloomfield is in the best position moving forward.
West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binders with us, as well as West Bloomfield Township Treasurer Terry Weingarten, getting their reaction to the big news in West Bloomfield Township. A new Township Supervisor has taken office, Jonathan Warshay, after being appointed by the West Bloomfield Township Board at a recent special meeting, addressing the resignation of Steve Kaplan and, of course, their will appointing a new supervisor under statute in the state of Michigan. I want to go back to you, Terry Weingarten, Township Treasurer, as we think about that learning curve Debbie talked about, getting a new leader in place. But having a leader in place in that position is really important. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, there are 3 full-time elected officials at Town Hall that are kind of the chief department leads across the board for all the day-to-day business. And I'd imagine following a resignation, a vacation of the office, that burden moving down the chain can maybe make things a little bit more hectic. Not necessarily delayed or take away from the day-to-day business, but I'd imagine in this scenario that having a supervisor in place is immediately helpful for the entire business of the township.
That's correct. You need to have continuity and leadership, and it's so important. And so we felt that as soon as possible, we really needed to select the new supervisor. First of all, the department heads have known that Steve Kaplan was going to leave for a few weeks. And then the resignation hadn't come yet. So there was some concern. They didn't know what was going on. And so the residents were calling. They didn't know what was going on. So I think you just want to have that continuity and leadership. And Debbie Binder, our clerk, and I had worked very hard for many months to get a AAA bond rating for the township. And part of what S&P looks at is the strength of the community and the continuity of leadership. But that is the big deal. So we certainly didn't want to risk losing that high bond rating. It allows the township to borrow at a much lower interest rate. So the Parks and Rec bonds, we actually got 12 bids because we were AAA, and they got a much better borrowing rate, which means that the money of our residents will go further. So that's very important too. But luckily, in the case of Jonathan, he already has worked with the department heads for years at the township board level. You know, like Debbie mentioned, he prepares for the meetings. So what does that mean? So you get this packet, and there's going to be things in it you don't know anything about, right? That's the point. They're coming to the board. So you call the department heads and you find out more about it, and you ask good questions and you do research. And then when you come to the meeting, you have in mind how you think you're going to vote. Then you listen to everything that's brought to you at the board table, and then you make a decision. Well, because Jonathan was so prepared, he often would call the department heads to get insight into the items on the agenda. So he has a very good rapport. He also has approved a budget every year, so he understands the budget. And the supervisor is in charge of the budget. So I think in this case, it'll be a pretty smooth transition. Yes, there's things to learn about being supervisor, and he'll have to get connected to that, but he'll have a lot of support from the township department heads, his executive assistant, and all of us.
Terry Weingarten with us, the West Bloomfield Township Treasurer, alongside West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder. As a new supervisor has taken office, West Bloomfield Township Trustee Jonathan Warshay appointed and accepting that position recently at a Township Board special meeting addressing the vacancy of the supervisor position. But Debbie Binder, with that being the case, with Mr. Warshay taking over as supervisor, he did also have to vacate his position as a West Bloomfield Township trustee. Again, that goes back to statute now, and the Township Board has some other big decisions upcoming. What is the statutory process going forward in terms of filling the trustee position and bringing that board back to 7 people?
So filling the trustee position is very similar to how we had to fill the supervisor's position. It is set forth in statute. It does guide what we have to do as a board, and it mandates the board to make that selection of who will fill a vacancy once we have an official, notice of a vacancy. So in terms of the process, it really outlines it outlines that the board makes the selection. Now, we are very fortunate. We have had at least a dozen people in the community that have, expressed interest in the job. Many, even if it were to become available. And what was, heartening to me was that everybody that came forward is a visible, dedicated member of this community. There's no one that came forward and just decided, oh, you know what, I like that job. They were all people that were known to us and people who have the best interest of West Bloomfield at heart. So the board will follow the statutory guidelines that mandate us to make a choice, and people have expressed interest. And so we will see at the meeting. I am going to put it on for January 13th. Okay. I think we all need a little bit of time now. It's a lot of change in a short period of time. And we will address, filling that vacancy on the board with somebody that we believe is the right choice at the right time. So, stay tuned. That will come, but the board will follow the statutory outlines to make that selection.
In the meantime, wbtownship.org for more updates and information from West Bloomfield Township, and you can watch all of their township board meetings right here on Civic Center TV and on our website on civiccentertv.com. Clerk Binder, Treasurer Weingarten, thank you both so much for your time today. I know we got to let you get going and continue your busy day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Have a great day, and thanks for always making sure everyone knows the things they need to know in West Bloomfield.
Always appreciate your time and glad to do that and help out. Both of you, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder and West Bloomfield Township Treasurer Terry Weingarten as they give their reaction to the big change at West Bloomfield Town Hall. Jonathan Warshay, a longtime trustee of the Township Board, has been appointed as the successor to Steve Kaplan as the West Bloomfield Township Supervisor and has already taken office. Again, wbtownship.org is the place to go for more information. There's plenty more going on all across the greater West Bloomfield community. We want to let you know all about that, and we'll get to a lot of that information coming up. Stay with us after this short break. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. What people are watching in Kego Harbor. Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Good nutrition can help make sure you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body, which can make it harder for lead to enter your bloodstream. Help protect your family from the harmful effects of lead.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
I'm Gina Gregory, president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations. That's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be one in a million.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe, thanking you for joining us and for always staying tuned on CivicCenterTV.com as well as across our social media. Sports are always in season here in Greater West Bloomfield, and as we head into the colder months of the year, a lot of people will huddle inside West Bloomfield High School to enjoy our prolific basketball teams, both the defending champions on the girls varsity basketball team and the up-and-coming boys varsity basketball team, whose season is already underway. Joining us for more insight and a look at this year's team is their head coach, Arnett Jordan. Coach, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you on as you've already started your 2024-25 season. And bouncing back from a year ago is really where I want to start this conversation, because it was a season with a lot of momentum that, look, didn't end the way that you wanted it to, but there's so many positives that came out of that last season. How have you and the staff and your returning players in 2024-25 used that as fuel to get off to hopefully a hot start in the coming weeks as you begin the season?
Well, you know, we shared the title with North Farmington, and with my returning team, I wanted them to just understand, like, we can go back to back to back OAA titles. They're motivated for it. We've been preparing all summer. We've been preparing all fall league, and we're just ready to have a successful season. Our first game didn't go quite like we planned, but we usually have a snafu every once in a while in the beginning of the season, but that's going to prepare us for a tough OAA team.
And sometimes that can be a good thing to have things not quite go your way early on in the season, those first couple of games, work the kinks out and start to kind of build that team chemistry. So what was your message after that early season loss that came to U of D Jesuit? Not the way, as you said, you wanted to start off the season, but plenty to learn from that experience.
Yes, so I like it because it's kind of humbling. And then once they're humble, they're able to listen and understand that, one, we don't know it all. And if we could just practice and prepare, that's the recipe for our winning streaks and how we win. Guys have to take every game one game at a time and follow the scouting report. That's why it's kind of hard early on in the season, because you don't have a scouting report, because kids in schools are just starting to play. But once you settle in, start paying attention to the scouting report, follow it, and do what me and my coaching staff are asking them to do.
Arnett Jordan is with us. He's the head coach of the West Bloomfield Lakers boys varsity basketball team, whose season now already underway here in West Bloomfield Township after a long playoff run last season that saw them get all the way to the boys basketball district finals, where they did end up being eliminated by the eventual champions right down the road in Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Coach Jordan, as you begin this season and you look towards some of the leaders on your team, who do you think, when people go to these games at West Bloomfield High School, or better yet, even travel with your team across the OAA this season, who are you looking forward to being kind of those players that maybe surprise some people and have a big impact on the Lakers on the floor in 2025?
I'm sure we'll be led by our seniors, Brendan Jones and Corey Pittman. but we also have some exciting juniors in Curtis Britton and Terry Lowe. You'll see a mixture of hard play talent. We're deep in guards, so you'll see a lot of mix up, with artists coming into the game off the bench, and Jamad, who is also a senior. But you'll come in, you'll see a little bit from everybody, and that's how it's been. We haven't had just one star to lean on. We are a team effort. If everybody gives their effort and what we need from them, then we should be successful.
And that's something we've seen in past seasons under your head coaching tenure here at West Bloomfield High School. You've had some stars, you've had some big stars on your team, but you've also had a lot of role players that really fit their defined place on that team well and make everybody else better. How does that sort of work toward the identity that you hope to have for your team overall as you run this program, but especially as we're early on this basketball season?
One of the things my staff and we preach is teamwork and togetherness. So kids know that they have a chance to play. If you give maximum effort, you'll have a chance to play. So they're just excited to get on the court. And, we preach as a staff, once you get in, try to give us something positive. So all of our kids, when they check into the game and when they start, it's been preached and they focus on do what I do best to help the team. And that collectively, we will be successful if they do that.
Coach Arnett Jordan is with us. He is the head coach of the West Bloomfield Lakers boys varsity basketball team as their season is now underway over at West Bloomfield High School. And Coach, it's a long season. It begins in December. The regular season runs all the way through February. And if you do things the right way, you're going to be playing well into early portions of March. And so as you build this season, as you get ready for the bulk of the season ahead, now what message do you have to your players as they go through those early season jitters, both together and individually, to keep them on track for ultimately a successful season that leads you to extra basketball?
So what we preach, me and my staff, we preach every day we come in to get better. I've put a tough schedule, like I do every year, a tough schedule for the kids to work on getting better because it's all about getting to that state tournament. This year, the district is at West Bloomfield. So I think it puts us in position to take care of our business if we just work towards the goal of getting better as a team every week.
Coach Arnett Jordan is with us. You can find more information on the West Bloomfield boys varsity basketball team and follow along with their schedule all season on westbloomfieldathletics.com. And as I said, it's a long season. It's already underway. Some of your games are only a couple days apart. Sometimes you got a little bit of a break and you get those weeks in between these games. So how do you balance that? Because on one hand, you have that short turnover that can not provide a lot of rest during a tough schedule. But on the other hand, those long lulls can maybe take away from the momentum. I think that builds a pretty interesting dynamic for preparation too.
Yeah, we play, especially towards the Christmas break. It's like we almost play every day. And then we have those where we have a week off. But also, I like those weeks off because we're able to tend to injuries or look and find, watch tape, see what we need to work on, and then we get in the gym and work on it. So it helps. I look at it as a positive because it gives us time to get better healthy and also to figure out what we're doing wrong on the things that we're doing wrong on.
And one thing I've seen that as I look through your schedule and through schedules of other local basketball teams across the state in 2024 and even in past years, a lot more of these tournaments and these showcases are popping up that allow you not only play really competitive teams and sort of test your ball club out, but also get to see some other teams and their style of play as well. What has that brought, especially in recent years as these have become more commonplace, to programs like West Bloomfield and its players and their development?
Well, I'll say this. I like to play in those tournaments because obviously the competition is tough, but also it's a place where I know college coaches will be and they'll be able to look at our kids and maybe offer them a scholarship. So when you can get that a lot amount of talent in one building, then I know the college coaches are going to come. So that's what we try to do, is put our kids in areas where college coaches will be so we can try to work towards getting their school paid for. I think it also prepares us for the OA Red, which is top 3 conferences in the state, barring none. So playing these tough early non-league schedules helps us when we go in and we have to play the Ferndales, the North Farmingtons, the Clarkstons. It prepares us to be ready for those competitions.
All but two teams in the OAA Red last season had over 500 records. West Bloomfield ultimately finishing in that division 11-1 in a championship tie with North Farmington, looking to bounce back and do that once again in 2024. Coach Arnett Jordan is with us on the Splash Live. Another minute or so with you before we'll let you go, Coach. So before I do, obviously your goal is to win a state championship, to win the OAA Red, to be able to compete deep into March. But beyond the basic goals that every team is going to have, what do you define a successful 2024-25 season for this basketball team?
Well, obviously only one person can win a state championship, so that's everybody's goal. However, I feel like I'm successful when I'm helping raise young men to be, positive people off the court. And if we do our best, I can be okay with us losing if we do our best. And that's what we're pushing these kids to, these student athletes to go out and play their hardest and play their best and work together and learn teamwork and learn camaraderie and learn how to motivate other people, because those are the lifelong lessons that you take with you once you graduate from high school and move over to the world where you're in a trade or you're in college. Those are things that teach you what you need or the tools to be successful in your life.
Only a small percentage of players go on to play college basketball, especially at an elite level in Division I, or have a chance to go on and eventually maybe play some pro ball. But every player on that court for West Bloomfield and all of its opponents has an opportunity to learn some valuable life lessons each and every day as they practice and as they play together. Coach Jordan, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good luck.
Glad to have you on, and go Lakers as you go through this 2024-2025 campaign. It's already underway, and the Lakers take on the Belleville Tigers tonight at West Bloomfield High School. It's a 7 o'clock tip-off at WB as they continue on the early portions of the season and try to get some momentum in their KLAA OAA Challenge, meeting up with a team that's typically been a rival of theirs on the gridiron, now the rival of theirs on the hardwood. More information on all of our West Bloomfield High School athletics teams, both in the winter season and beyond, on westbloomfieldathletics.com. For a lot of us, it's a daily task, just something we're checking off on our list of tasks in the morning before we head out to work, to our appointments, or out and about in our community. That shave can be the difference between feeling fresh and new and maybe a little bit under the weather and a little bit under ready to go out and about in greater West Bloomfield. But a local business is helping to sort of bridge the gaps between that being a daily task and a grooming exercise that you enjoy, and taking a little bit of the classic nature of it into play as well. Reporter Jake Schaff has the story.
Shaving is something that not a lot of people enjoy doing, and that people mostly see as nothing more than just a chore. But here at the Razor Company, they offer several high-quality materials and items to help take care of your facial hair and to make shaving not something that you have to do, but something that you get to do.
The Razor Company was started by Jason Regal on a quest to get a better shave. We've been in business for 8 years. He rediscovered traditional shaving and found that most of the world still shaves like this today.
What kind of materials do you have to offer?
Shaving and grooming is our primary focus here at the Razor Company. We have double-edged safety razors, single-edged safety razors, straight razors, brushes, bowls, soaps, creams, aftershaves, everything for a wonderful shave. There are 3 main benefits for traditional shaving. There is, you reduce irritation, you reduce cost, as well as save the planet. So 25% of men who shave have neck irritation, and the supplies here, shaving cream, soaps, and aftershaves will help with that, as well as the razor that you use and the blade. And then cartridge razors are very expensive, and they live in the landfill. They just stay there and don't break down. So that's not really good for the planet. We take pride in our planet and are a Gillette Certified Recycle plate station for you to bring your cartridge razors and razor blades for recycling. The materials we do have here are recyclable. They can be obviously broken down over time.
Why is self-care so important?
So self-care is important for everyone, not just ladies. I believe men also do benefit from self-care. The repetition of shaving, as well as the materials used to help get a better shave. You smell better, you feel better, and you look better. We hope our customers enjoy visiting the shop as well as interacting with other people in the community. The environmental impact is obviously important, but what's more important is how you feel after you're done shaving and learning different ways to do so.
From soaps to creams to razors galore, there is so much to be seen here at the Razor Company. Make sure you stop by next time you're in Sylvan Lake, and to help turn shaving from a chore to something much more enjoyable. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Appreciate the report, Jake, and the friendly advice from the Razor Company over in Sylvan Lake. It's something we do every day or several times a week, and as they said, that self-care so important in brightening our day and getting us off to a good start, or maybe taking some time to relax at the end of a very busy day. This time of the year, people across the greater West Bloomfield community are looking to give back, and many organizations do their individual work to help with those efforts, but sometimes partnership can make those efforts even stronger. Our reporter Kevin McIntosh recently spoke with Terry Giannetti for even more information on a joint effort between West Bloomfield and Keagle Harbor community organizations.
The Holiday Happiness Project helps local families in need. If you've never heard of it, it is a great initiative put on by a few local organizations. And with us right here live on the Splash from the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield, we have Terry Giannetti. Thank you for being here, Terry.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. And Michael.
Yes, I appreciate that first and foremost. So let's get straight into it. Starting off, just tell us a little bit more details about the Holiday Happiness Project in general.
Okay. I joined the West Bloomfield Optimist Club, and it'd been a few years we'd been gone, and I used to belong to the Keagle Optimist Club. So it's something that's near and dear to my heart. So I joined, and one of the first activities I was involved in was Holiday Happiness a few years ago. And what a great opportunity. And all the literature that I read and some of the work that I do says that when you do something for others, you end up feeling better and you end up even lessening your anxiety. So the Holiday Happiness is an event that is we're going to distribute baskets of goodies to needy families. Now, the first thing we probably wonder is West Bloomfield, isn't that a pretty big community? But we do have needy families here and in Keagle. And we're working together with the Keagle Club, the Jacket Club, and we are going to provide a basket that is full of a Thanksgiving or a holiday food, a turkey, all the sides, all kinds of goodies in there. We buy their kids either hoodies or jackets for the winter, and we buy either, it depends on the age, what's appropriate. We end up giving the kids a game or giving them a toy or giving them a gift card, because the 8th grade and above probably would rather go shopping and get their own thing. So, right? And then they come to the fire station on December 21st.
Okay.
Between 11 and 12, they've already been notified. They'll be notified, reminded again where, and they come through. It's amazing. It's amazing every time I saw it, because they come through the fire station in the back where the trucks are, and they drive through. They stop at different stations. They get this basket. It not only has food, but and stuff for the kids, but it also has household supplies. And we get donations. We get the actual donations of some as much as we can of food for the rest. And then we drive through the one car. We service only one car. We welcome them. It's just wonderful to see their faces. They take the stuff and talk about feeling good. It just is a wonderful experience, not just for them, but for us.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of families that will be grateful.
And it's a great time that you all are doing this, especially like we said during the holidays, where a lot of people are showing how cheerful they are spending time with family and maybe out shopping, but not everyone has a family. Not everyone has the ability to get gifts or receive gifts and things of that nature. So for you all to actually put that foot forward, we appreciate that and happy to acknowledge that. I want you to briefly elaborate on some of the specific needs faced by families in the greater West Bloomfield community during the holiday season.
Well, like you said it very well. There are small unit families where they don't have outside families. They don't have to go. That's one issue. The other issue is they don't have the money to, they're budgeting and they do the best they can, and they don't have budget money to go out and get some things that they, that they feel good about, and not just the food, so they can enjoy it with their immediate family, but also all the other things. We wrap everything up, the gifts, on that Friday before. So the kids get things that are wrapped up. We get volunteers. So I think it just really helps those that don't have as much as we do. And I'm really proud of that.
And I'm happy, and I'm once again so happy that you all are doing this for our local community and those in need specifically. Once again, join us right here live on The Splash from the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield, Terry Janetti, talking about the Holiday Happiness Project and how they give back to local families in need during this holiday time. I want you to briefly also talk about the fact that you all are getting donations for this and also getting help from the community as far as volunteers. Just talk a little bit more about the process of getting these donations, where they come from, and then talk about the volunteering aspect of it also.
Yeah, I'd love to. First of all, I don't want to start naming people that have given something, but there are local businesses, local, like the police, the firefighters, local businesses, like I said, jewelry stores. There's all kinds of businesses, grocery stores. They help us with the food, and they give us actual money, or like the grocery stores, the products. We put it on Facebook, and we send out formal letters to everybody that has given in the past, especially the bigger businesses that can also.
I think we may be experiencing some slight technical difficulties. We have you back now, right now. From the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield, Terry Janetti, just talking about the Holiday Happiness Project that they do to help those in need in our greater West Bloomfield area. Just a few more questions before we get out of here. I know this is a collaboration with the Jacket Club of Keego Harbor as well as the West Bloomfield School District. Can you just talk about how important this collaboration is with these two organizations and how it works, please?
It sure is helpful, because we don't, some of us used to work for the school, so we could share some names, but none of us do that now. So we have to have access, and it has to be private. We can't make those names public at all. So we go to great lengths to just assign people numbers, et cetera. But the social workers in West Bloomfield schools give us names confidentially of families that what they need, et cetera. And then, so the schools help, and the Jacket, there's a lady there, and she helps us so much, and we help her. So we meet together, and we find out our needs, number of families, et cetera, and then we divide the tasks up. She may get this, we may get this, we're sharing this. She's getting some of the food this time, and then the fighters are going to transport it, because when you have that many, and we have about, I think, 50 families, if we raise more money, we might be able to even do more, but we have at least 50. So they transport the from the grocery store, et cetera. They pick.
Overall, I love the fact that there's so many different moving parts from organizations, but overall, it's working together in synergy. And we love talking to people from organizations in our greater West Bloomfield area and how they put on events and initiatives and programs, and they collaborate with other organizations. We love to see how that works, and thank you for explaining that also. Real briefly, again, before we let you go, just give out the details and information about the Holiday Happiness Project. If anyone wants to help by donating and volunteering, or if anyone is in need, how can they get that information?
Okay. If anyone would like to donate, we're still trying to raise money to cover all the costs. I'll make a checkout or you can give them my cell phone number if that helps, and they can call for or text for directions of what they should do, and different ways of getting the money, some Venmo, all kinds of different, we'll pick that up, whatever. And so feel free to do that. And what else did you ask?
Volunteering, donating, and for families in need.
Yeah, yes. I think we have quite a number of families that we've targeted already, but, you know, 2 more came in the last day or so. So again, just get them to me or send me a text. That's the easiest way. And then as far as volunteers, Friday, December 20th, we're going to wrap gifts. And we need what we call wrappers. And it's also fun. It's a fun day. Nice. Everything's organized. You come in, you wrap, you go, and they feel good. And we're going to be wrapping gifts again at the fire station. And it's the fire station on Maple, just east of Orchard Lake Road. And the wrapping will be from about 10 to 1. When we're done, we're done.
Perfect.
And Saturday, we're going to, we have to pack things up and be ready to distribute. So the cars start coming between 11 and 12. But we'd need people before that and to clean up after, you know, the people that don't want to be on the front lines, but we sure need them to clean up and set up.
Oh,
so
yes.
That's February. I don't think so. December 20th and December 21st, and feel free to text me. If I don't get back right away, it means I'm getting a lot of texts.
Well, either way it go, we appreciate your work. We appreciate everything you, the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield, and the Jacket Club of Keego Harbor is doing for our community. Once again, from the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield, Terry Janetti, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate Terry for joining us, giving us more insight on the Holiday Happiness Challenge, which is a partnership between the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield and the Jacket Club of Keego Harbor to help so many families out this time of the year, not only with bringing some smiles to those kids through Christmas gifts, but also through, and other holiday gifts as well, but also through some of the necessities that you need during the winter season or may need for those holiday dinners and other gatherings with you and yours while we're all cozy in our homes. It's not necessarily the case for everybody. So if you can donate, if you can get involved, a great time to do so with the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield and with the Jacket Club of Keego Harbor as well. At Chico Elementary School, local kids have been working on service projects for the community. It's the Girls on the Run teams at Chico Elementary School doing their best to make a big impact. Students are creating sensory bins for their autism spectrum disorder, or ASD rooms, in their school district, aiming to be leaders through fun, interactive curriculum that combines both running and personal development. That's what Girls on the Run is all about, and seems like those students at Chico Elementary School definitely taking that to heart, doing things to help out their classmates in their schools to make a more comfortable, fun, safe, and inviting learning environment. Always great to see from our students, especially at a young age right here in Greater West Bloomfield. For more details on how you can support them and their efforts, and of course to congratulate those students on taking their part in helping out their classmates right here in our community, Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools is the place to go for those comments and to see those pictures even more. That's going to do it for our program on today's edition of the Splash Live. Big thank you to everybody on our team out in the field, Kevin McIntosh, back at Master Control, Jake Schaff, and Calvin Brown. If you want to stay tuned, CivicCenterTV.com, Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, YouTube, X, and Instagram at Civic Center TV. For our entire team, I'm Tyler Keefe, thanking you for tuning in to the Splash Live.